Today I will show how you can make your own AI chatbot completely for free using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Gemini API. So I'm in my folder chatbot and I'll create three files: index.html, style.css, and script.js. I'll go to my index.html and press exclamation mark. That will load the boiler template for HTML. I'll make the title as chatbot and also include my CSS link. So link CSS that will include the style.css file. After this, I'll also include script.js in my body tag. So script src, and this will link to script.js. So now I have loaded both my CSS and JavaScript file in my HTML. Now I will write my HTML code to have the chatbot. So first I'll write div, and using hashtag you can add the ID. That's emit abbreviation. So I'll write chatbot icon, press enter, and here I will include a chat icon emoji. Uh, and after this, I'll create a chatbot container. So when I click on this icon, the chatbot container will load up. So div and the ID will be chatbot container. And I'll also write the class. I'll make it as hidden. Initially, the chatbot will be hidden. In this container, I will have another div with ID chatbot header, chatbot header. First is span, which will have chatbot text and a button with ID close btn for close icon. We'll call it as close btn. And I'll write times. So this means a close icon will appear, which is represented by a close button. After this, I'll include inside my chatbot container. This becomes my header. The next div will be my chatbot body. So div hashtag chatbot body. This is my main body of the chatbot. In this, what I will have is a chatbot message where I can write all the messages. So div hashtag chatbot messages. That's done. Now I will also include a input container where I can write my own messages. So another div, I'll call that as chatbot input container. Press enter. And in this, I will have an input field, which will give me a placeholder where I can write the messages. So input of type text, input of type text. Here it is. And type is text. I'll put ID as chatbot input, and name, I will just remove name. We don't need it. So I have an input with type text and ID chatbot input. I'll also include a placeholder. So placeholder, I'll write type a message. That's done. And there will be a button for sending the message. So button with ID send btn, press enter, and this will be sent. So that's done. This is all we need in the HTML code. So if I go live now, you will see we have all the elements in place. Now I just need to write my styling and JavaScript code. Now to save time, I'll paste my entire style code. I put the entire code as a GitHub URL in the description. You can find the entire code. From there, you can copy the entire style.css. I just did that to save time as the video is too long. Now, if I go and see my web page, so you can see now we have a chatbot container and a chatbot icon. When I type a message, nothing will happen because I don't have JavaScript. Now I'll write my JavaScript to make the functionality work. Finding this video helpful, please subscribe to this channel. Now I will go to script.js to have the AI chatbot functionality. So script.js, and I'll start writing the code here. First thing I'm going to do is that I will include a event listener of DOM content loaded, and that will trigger a function. So once all the elements are loaded, I'll get the elements. So const chatbot container goes to document dot get element by ID chatbot container. Then next, let me zoom out a bit. Const close btn. This will store the close button details. Get element by ID. Close btn. Next we have send btn. So send button document dot get element by ID send btn, and then I'll store const chatbot input document dot get element by ID chatbot input. After this, I will store chatbot messages goes to document dot get element by ID chatbot in double quotes chatbot messages. After this, const chatbot icon. So I want to add an event listener there. So when I click on the icon, it will show my chat window. Get element by ID chatbot icon. After this, I'll add an event listener for the click event for chatbot icon. So chatbot icon dot add event listener of a click, and that will call the function. In this function, I will store the container class list and remove the hidden one, so it won't be hidden, the chatbot container, whenever we click on the chatbot icon. And the chatbot icon dot style dot display none. So once you click on it, the icon will not be shown. So we are changing the styling here. After this, I'll add again a event is listener for close button. So close btn dot add event listener. Again a click event and function. So when you click on the close btn, it will um, it will close the container. So chatbot container dot class list dot remove hidden, um, not remove, add hidden, because we'll hide the container, and we'll make the chatbot icon dot style dot display as flex. So it will have some display property whenever we close the button. Uh, After this, I'll also have a send BTN. This is where my logic will come of Gemini API. So send button add event listener. I'll listen to click event. Whenever we click on send, it will call the send message. So I'll create a send message function, and later after this, I'll also include enter event. So when you write something in the chatbot input, enter event will trigger the send button functionality. So chatbot input, add event listener. So whenever you click on enter, it will send the message to the chatbot. Key press, so it will listen to key press event, and in the functional pass E as the parameter. And I'll say if E dot key is equals to enter, then send message. Done. Now what I need to do now is to just implement my send message. So I'll create a function. So function send message, a function, and in that I will have const user message is document dot get element by ID, chatbot input, and we'll get the value in that value dot trim. Once that's done, I'll check if the user message is a to the value. So user message, um, and we'll append the message. I'll write the function for append as well. User and user message expects two parameter. Then we'll make the document dot get element by ID. Chat possibly need to clear the input once user has typed his message. Chatbot chatbot input dot value dot trim. After this, we'll get the bot response. So get bot response and user message. So this is done. Now I'll write the functionality for append message, append message, send a message, and in this I'll pass my message container. So const message container equals document dot get element by ID, chat bot messages, and const message element equals to document dot get element by ID diff. So as soon as the message user enters the message, it will try to append on the chatbot container. That's what we are trying to do. So in the message element class list, it will add this message from the sender. Message in double quotes. Um, After that, message element dot text content will be the message, and finally we'll append the child. So message container dot append child message element, and we'll also have the scroller functionality, so it appears on top whenever user enter the message. It gets appended and appears on top. So message container dot scroll top equals to message container dot scroll height. So now the final is to get bot response. This is the most important function. This is where we will be writing our Gemini API logic. So async function get bot response and user message. And this what we'll do is that we'll get the API key and the API URL. So I'll go to Chrome and search for Gemini API. Click on this first link, and then I can go to explore models in Google AI Studio. And here I'll get the API key. So here you can create an API key, copy this API key, and here you can select any Google projects. If you don't have a project, you can create it and then you can select that project. I'll select this Gemini API project and create a API key. It generates a API key for me. I'll copy this API key and go to my VS Code. Now I will write here my API key. So const API key will be this. So this becomes my API key. And then I need to get the API URL. So for URL, you can go to the same link, and this is the URL, https generative language googleapis.com. So here I'll copy this entire thing. So I'll paste the API URL. Here it is mentioned the API key. So what I'll do is that I'll convert it as a template literal. So put backticks. So put this backtick here and in the end as well. And instead of Gemini API key, put your own API key. Put a dollar. This is template literal, and put this API key. So API key and save it. So this becomes my API URL. So now I have the API key and this API URL. Now I will paste the code that will get the response. So I'll paste the code here. There's one extra bracket. So this basically sends the user message as a post method. And here we specified everything. This in the data, we are storing the response, and then we are checking if it is not null. If it is null, then we are logging no response from Gemini API. If there is a response, get the bot message and append the message onto the UI. So this is all we have now. We have integrated Gemini API key in our code. And I'll go to my index.html and go live. So now I'm in my browser. I click on the chat icon and I'll type a message. What is the highest mountain in the world? And I'll press enter. It says the highest mountain in the world is Mount Everest, which is correct. So this is how you can integrate Gemini API with HTML, CSS, JavaScript to make AI chatbot completely for free. I have published the entire project on GitHub. So I'll put the GitHub link in the description. You can see the code and try it out. Let me know how it works. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time. So this is how the AI chatbot will look like. So I click on the chatbot icon. I will ask capital of Ireland. So it gives Dublin. If I, for example, ask population of the world, so it gives the population of the world as 8 billion people. So this is what we're going to do today, and I'll implement using HTML, CSS, JavaScript.